One woman appeared to be bitter about the circumstance, almost as if she had received some horrible news before learning that the youngster had been harmed, while the other appeared to be concerned for his safety. She had already taken out her phone and appeared to be speaking with the operator in order to obtain medical assistance for the young kid. When neither of them said anything, she offered the boy a reassuring look and nodded her head. "I'm sure, Austin," she said as she extended her hand to him. "I'll stay right here and make sure he doesn't injure you in any way, okay?" The child shifted his gaze from the mother to me and back again. "All right, Miss Pansy," he murmured, wiping his eyes on the back of his good hand before grasping her hand and returning my gaze. I held his damaged hand lightly in my own as I examined it, taking advantage of the chance to pull his hand away from him so that I could view it better. Gently feeling around, I discovered that I was correct. The youngster had been sprained rather than broken, and he was quite fortunate. He may have broken his wrist in two if he had landed in another direction, but happily it was only swollen and sprained. "I've got some ice in my car," I explained as I rose to my feet. "I urge that you call an ambulance to come out here so they can be sure, but in the meantime I'll fetch some ice to help with the swelling. In the meantime, don't let him move his hand." I dashed towards my car, which was parked on the opposite side of the playground, as the woman began to nod her head in agreement. I was grateful for the fact that I had been training my body to deal with situations like this. Originally, I planned on jogging to maintain my health, especially since I was always sitting at a desk at work these days. But I was grateful for the fact that I had been doing more. I never knew when it would pay off, and I was glad that it was actually working. As soon as I got to the car, I flung open the trunk and grabbed inside the cooler, where I kept several Gatorades and bottled water in case of an emergency. Other items in the trunk included light snacks and sandwich bags. After seeing the medical school episode on heat illness and heat stroke, I've always preferred to be well prepared, especially during the summer. Taking a few handfuls of ice, I placed it in a bag and closed it before looking around at the other items in the back of my car. I had a few granola bars, as well as some apples, and I was certain that as soon as we got the child to calm down, it would be a lot easier whenever the ambulance arrived. Grabbing a few granola bars, I closed the back of the trunk and hurried back to the park, where 3 women surrounded the little boy. "I'm back," I replied as I crouched alongside the youngster. I continued, handing him the bag of ice. "I also took some snacks with me. You don't have any food allergies, do you?" As he returned his gaze to the woman he had dubbed Pansy, he shook his head timidly. "He doesn't," she answered, looking down at the granola bars I was holding. "Please don't think less of me because of this, but I'd rather he didn't eat that. His mother always maintained that she never got him tested." She was nicely telling me that she didn't want the young boy accepting food from someone like me. It wasn't even something that made me angry. I was well aware of the dangers of stranger danger, and I knew better than to press the issue. If I did, it would look much worse for me than anything else. Rather than continuing the conversation, I returned my gaze to the young boy. "Keep that ice on your hand," I said, a good-natured grin on my face. "The only time you should remove it is when the ambulance arrives. They'll then tell you what you need to do next, okay?" I could already hear the ambulance approaching in the distance as I glanced at the woman. "Do you want me to come with you, or do you believe you can get by from where you are?" She paused for a beat before shrugging her shoulders. "I don't see why you shouldn't stick around," she murmured softly, "unless you have an essential appointment." In reaction, I couldn't help but shake my head. "Not really," I replied as the ambulance approached the park. I continued after noticing one of the women standing nearby with her arms crossed and a disapproving look on her face. "Plus, I have a hunch she's going to wreck your life if I don't stay."